Round the World Lit Audio. The Stranger by Albert Camus. Part 1. Chapter 4. Full narration script. Channel intro. Welcome to Around the World Lit Audio, the greatest novels ever written, from every corner of the world, in English. New chapter every week, free to listen. Chapter recap. In Chapter 3, Meursault met his neighbor Raymond on the stairs. Raymond asked him to write a letter designed to lure back and then humiliate the Moorish woman he believed had wronged him. Meursault wrote it without hesitation. Later Raymond beat her. The police came. Old Salamano lost his dog, and came to Meursault's room, shaking, to talk about 8 years of living with something you cannot leave. Raymond invited Meursault and Marie to a beach bungalow for the following Sunday. Part 1. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. The weeks that followed had a particular quality, not a quality of waiting. Meursault did not wait for things in the way that implies impatience or anticipation. He simply moved through time as he always moved through time, noticing what was there to be noticed, doing what was there to be done, with the steady unremarkability of a life that has found its rhythm, and does not expect the rhythm to change. Marie came on Thursdays. They went to the beach sometimes. They went to the cinema. She stayed some nights and not others. She asked him once whether he loved her. He said he didn't think so. He said that didn't mean anything, but that he probably didn't. She looked at him for a moment. Then she said, "You're strange." He agreed that he probably was. She asked, "Would you like to marry me?" He said it didn't matter to him, but if she wanted to he supposed they could. This was not the answer she had been hoping for. But she did not leave. She stayed and they had dinner, and went to bed, and in the morning she was the same as she always was, direct, warm, easy in her body, and Meursault found her attractive and liked her company in the way he liked certain things, without complicated feelings about it. He asked her, "Do you love me?" She said, "Yes." He said, "Then why does my answer matter?" She did not have an answer for this that satisfied either of them. The weekend of Raymond's beach invitation came. They took the bus, Meursault and Marie and Raymond, through the outskirts of Algiers and along the coast road to the bungalow. It was a Sunday in summer. The light was specific and relentless, the kind of light that does not diffuse, but sits on things directly, on the road and the water and the white surfaces of the buildings, with the particular insistence of Algerian summer, that makes everything feel slightly more than real. The bungalow was simple: a room, a kitchen, a veranda looking at the beach, the sea below. Raymond's friend Masson owned it with his wife. Masson was a large, cheerful man with the comfortable manner of someone at home in his own body and his own life. His wife was Portuguese with a warm laugh. They received the visitors with the easy hospitality of people who enjoy company, and do not make a production of enjoying it. They swam. The water was cold and clear, and Meursault swam out farther than the others and floated on his back, and looked at the sky, which was very blue with the quality of depth that the sky has over the sea when you are in the water and looking directly up. Marie swam near him. Masson splashed around loudly near the shore. Raymond sat in the shallows. After the swimming they ate. Masson had prepared food, simple, substantial, the kind of meal that is satisfying because it is exactly what the body wants after cold water and sun. They drank wine. The conversation moved in the easy way of people who are together for pleasure and have no agenda beyond the pleasure. Then Raymond said, quietly, that there were men on the beach. He said it in a tone that was not alarmed, but was carefully not alarmed, the tone of a man managing his reaction. Meursault looked. 2 Arabs were standing on the beach some distance away. One of them was the brother of the Moorish woman. Raymond had described him before, the one who had come to Raymond's building looking for trouble. They stood on the beach with the particular stillness of people who are waiting for something, not urgently, with the patience of people who have decided something, and are simply finding the right moment. Raymond said, "They have been following me." Masson said, "We should deal with this." The 3 men went down to the beach. What happened on the beach was brief, and not entirely clear in its sequence. There was a confrontation. There was a fight. Raymond was cut, a knife, across the arm and the mouth. Masson and Meursault pulled Raymond back. The Arabs retreated. Raymond bled. They went back to the bungalow. Raymond's wounds were treated. He was not seriously hurt. The cuts were painful and would leave marks, but were not deep. He sat at the kitchen table with the specific anger of a man who has been hurt, and holds himself responsible for having let it happen. He said, "I am going back down." Meursault said, "What for?" Raymond said, "To find them." Meursault said, "If you go back down looking for them, you should take your gun." Raymond looked at him. He said, "I was not going to shoot anyone." Meursault said, "Then why take the gun?" Raymond said, "To frighten them." Meursault said, "That is not a good reason to take a gun. Give it to me." Raymond looked at him for a moment. Then he gave Meursault the gun. They went back down to the beach. The Arabs were gone. The beach was empty in the afternoon sun. They walked along the shore for a while without finding anyone, and eventually Raymond said he wanted to go back up. Masson agreed. They walked back toward the bungalow. Meursault did not go back with them. He was not sure why. He was not looking for the Arabs. He was not planning anything. He was simply not ready to go back into the bungalow, back into the conversation and the company, and the enclosed space of other people. The beach was there, and the sun was there, and the sea was there, and he walked along the shore in the other direction, in the direction where the beach curved around below the rocks. He found the spring. There was a small spring below the rocks, a place of shade and cold water, where the beach was sheltered from the direct sun. The two Arabs were there. One of them was lying in the shade. The other was watching the water. Meursault stopped. The Arab who was watching the water looked at him. He did not move. He did not speak. He held a knife loosely at his side, the blade catching the light from the water. The sun was very strong. Meursault stood on the beach with the gun in his pocket, and the sun on his face, and the light reflecting off the sea, and the blade simultaneously in a way that made the light feel like a physical thing, like pressure, like something pushing against him. He took a step forward. He was not sure why. He took a step forward and the Arab moved slightly, and the light shifted and the reflection from the blade crossed Meursault's eyes, and in that moment something happened, not a decision, not a thought, but something more physical than either, a response to the light and the heat, and the accumulated weight of the day. He fired. He fired once and stood there, and then the gun fired for more times, in the silence after the first shot, and the sound was absorbed by the sun and the sea, and the rocks in the afternoon. And then there was only the sound of the waves. He had shot an Arab on a beach in Algeria. He stood with the gun in his hand, and the sun on his face, and understood, clearly, completely, without drama, that he had destroyed the equilibrium of the day. Chapter Transition. You have reached the end of Part 1, Chapter 4 of The Stranger, by Albert Camus. In Chapter 5, the final chapter of Part 1, Meursault is arrested. He is taken to prison. He begins to wait. And Camus, through the specific quality of Meursault's waiting, begins to reveal what the trial that is coming will really be about, not the death of an Arab on a beach, but the life of a man who has refused, consistently and without apology, to feel what society has decided he should feel. Chapter 5 is available next week. Subscribe to Around the World Lit Audio so you never miss a chapter. A new chapter arrives every week.